Hi, good afternoon, everybody. TJ Trout. We got BV. We got Larry in the newsroom. And also on the line with us this afternoon, we have PNM CEO Pat Vincent Collawn. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, TJ.
Yeah, this is fun. We're actually doing this on a Zoom with no pictures, with no video, which makes me feel a little easier, a little better. So
yeah, no, and I wasted getting my hair done, so I'm bummed.
Me too. So, well, listen, this story really didn't get much of a runway, just because of the election and because of COVID. But PNM has just been acquired by Avangrid. So, can you tell us who Avangrid is and what do they do?
Absolutely. Avangrid is a leading sustainable energy company. They actually own utilities now. They have utilities in 4 states on the East Coast. And then they have renewable projects in 24 states. And then in turn, Avangrid is 80% owned by Iberdrola, which is the 3rd largest energy company in the world. And they're also a leading renewable energy franchise.
Oh, let's see. I got most of that written down. I think I followed you most of the way. So is this a done deal yet? I mean, what is there anything standing in this thing getting done, or what needs to be done to finalize it?
Oh, no, it's not a done deal by any means. We have regulatory approvals to go through. So in New Mexico, the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission will need to approve the deal. Same thing in Texas. And then we've got a bunch of federal approvals to get also.
Okay, so this is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the purpose of this acquisition? I mean, how will this benefit us here in New Mexico?
Well, lots of ways. In utility terms, we're kind of small, even though we're a big company. And so having this big parent company will allow us to have access to a bigger balance sheet, which translates to cheaper capital. And we'll think about giving rate credits to customers as part of the merger. It also gives us access to technology. Iberdrola is a leader in hydrogen technology, which is something our state really wants to look at. It gives us lots of opportunities for employees to go work in different utilities or even overseas. And I think it really just takes us here in New Mexico on the next step in our journey.
I'm gonna go off grid just for a second, because I'm gonna ask you just about hydrogen really quickly. Because what I've read about hydrogen, which it seems really promising, is but is the hydrogen derived from fossil fuels? You still have to take the fossil fuels to get the hydrogen.
There is something called green hydrogen.
Okay.
And it can be done from farm waste. It can be done, with wind or solar. So it can be done in a green manner.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. So ultimately, this acquisition, is this going to help us here in New Mexico meet our carbon-free goals?
Yes. And Avangrid actually has a little more aggressive carbon-free goals than we do. They have 2035. But they can help us, again, like I talked about with technology like hydrogen. We're really comfortable about how we're going to get 80% of the way to our goal. And the rest of that goal, it has to come through new technology, whether it's breakthroughs in battery,
right,
or hydrogen or pump storage. So they can help us with that.
Yeah, I was the last time I had you guys on, we were actually talking about battery technology, and that seems to be like a giant linchpin that is kind of not missing right now. And you're kind of looking to the future to develop that technology. How far along are you? Do you know?
If I knew the exact answer to that question and which company was doing it, you and I would go run off and invest all of our money in that company.
Okay. But I mean, it is a realistic goal, though, right? I mean, you guys are working on like major ways to store energy.
Absolutely. The whole industry, every national lab, and lots of smart venture capital money is working on this. So we're very confident we'll get there.
All right. I'm going off grid. How much would improving the electrical grid in the country, all over the country and in New Mexico, actually help with energy efficiency? Is that something that really needs to be done?
Energy efficiency really needs to be done by the end user. And we all need to have a part in that. Improving the energy grid will help us integrate renewables. Yeah. And if we've got more connectivity, we can trade energy from all parts of the country. That helps, it gets us cleaner and lower cost energy. But energy efficiency is on us as human, and we're not very good at this as human beings to be more efficient with our use.
Turn the lights off, turn the thermostat down, things like that, right?
All the things your mother told you. Yeah.
yeah, I know. So back to the deal. How's the deal going to affect P&M employees?
Absolutely. It's going to have great opportunities for the P&M employees. Avangrid has agreed that there would be no terminations, obviously, except for cause if you're not doing your job, for 2 years post-closing, and they've agreed to no changes in the salary and benefits. And one of the reasons we chose Avangrid as a partner, because they're willing to protect our employees.
Right. And more importantly to all of us, how do you envision this affecting our electric bills?
We'll be looking at offering rate credits, as I mentioned, in our rate application, and none of the costs of getting this deal done, the bankers, the lawyers, all those people, none of those costs go to customers.
Okay. All right. So if we're going ultimately green, and that is obviously the goal. Let's talk about costs and going green. Are we going to end up paying more if we're like completely carbon neutral, or is there a way that you guys can keep the costs down?
Well, we're really looking at keeping the costs down. And so far, all of the renewables that we've added have been cheaper than the coal that we've retired. And if you look at our recent announcement about Four Corners, right, that's because we're going to save $100 million for customers and replace it with cheaper renewable energy. So in general, the renewables are a lot cheaper than the fossil fuel.
Are you finding that you're getting public support about going in this direction, or is what you're hearing from the public kind of a mixed message right now?
For the most part, we are getting public support, but just like with anything, there's always some folks that are on the opposite side of it. And, sometimes people are playing with facts that are out of date. But I think New Mexico is taking a real careful approach to it because we realize that a lot of our budget comes from the oil and gas industry, and we can't stop that today.
Yeah, but it's almost kind of oxymoronic, isn't it? Because we are so dependent on the tax revenue coming in from oil and gas, yet we're moving in a green direction. So it's kind of something that PNM and actually the New Mexico has to deal with, right?
Absolutely. And, we want it to be a very thoughtful transition and to work with the state. A lot of that money goes to education and other great things. That's one thing where hydrogen can come in. Maybe you can use the existing pipes for hydrogen. Maybe at first you produce hydrogen with natural gas. So there's lots of ways to be thoughtful about it.
All right. We are speaking with PNM CEO, Pat Vincent Collawn. I'm going to take a break here for traffic, and then I want to come back. I want to ask you about coal, and I want to ask you about what's going on with the San Juan coal plant.
Absolutely.
All right. I got traffic in 10 seconds. Hold on. And we're back. TJ Trout. We got BV at the controls. Larry in the newsroom. Be talking to him in a little bit. And on the line with us again is PNM CEO, Pat Vincent Collawn. And hey, thanks for being with me this afternoon. This is great.
And thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure. So, okay, we talked a little bit about coal already, but what is going on with the San Juan coal plant? The plans are to still close this?
Absolutely. That's part of our commitment to be carbon free. And that's already approved and on its way. And as you know, we have the Energy Transition Act that allows for money to be spent up in the Four Corners region, and it helps our workers and the coal mine workers transition out into other jobs. So that is still on track.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one because I think there's probably going to be a net loss of jobs up there, which is sad. But I understand also that, and I don't know which one it is, but the Navajo Nation is looking into buying one of the coal plants up there in the Four Corners. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking at buying, the Navajo Transitional Energy Company is looking at buying our share of the Four Corners power plant.
Okay, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that is coal burning as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you think that's going to happen?
I do. When you think about it, it's good for our customers. We estimate that there's about $100 million of savings for our customers by getting out of that coal plant. It allows for the Navajo Nation and the energy company to have a say in the time frame for that coal plant and when it shuts down. And as you talked about, they're concerned about job loss there. And This really gives them a glide path to think about that transition to clean energy. and because they lost the Navajo generating station, and they've lost the Escalante power plant. And so with our power plants in terms of San Juan, we have the transition money, and this allows them to kind of drive their own bus, so to speak, on the timing of Four Corners.
So what was your plan originally, to keep the Four Corners plant open, or were you going to close that one as well? What was the plan?
Well, the original plan on that was that it would stay open until 2031.
Okay.
That's when all the contracts expire. We'd like to close it earlier, but we found that the Navajo Nation, the transitional energy company, would like to buy it, and so we're letting them do that.
Okay, and what about the technology? Weren't they saying some outfit out of Texas or somewhere was going to come in and carbon capture all of the coal emissions? Do you know anything about that? What the progress is on that? Is it even feasible?
From a technology standpoint, TJ, it's totally feasible. The issue that we've had about it is the cost. It's a very expensive process. It consumes a lot of electricity while you're doing it. So they are still working on that, and we are still talking with them. I don't have a recent update on it, but we are participating with the other owners in San Juan on that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I wonder what the Navajo. Well, I'm just thinking out loud, wondering what the Navajo Nation is thinking about looking into the future. I mean, if they say, "Oh no, we're going to continue to burn coal," or do they think that they can somehow transition that to make it cleaner? But I don't know.
I think the Navajos are being very thoughtful about this. They would like to get out of fossil fuels and into clean energy, but they also, just like New Mexico with its oil and gas, they have to look at the impact of getting out of fossil fuels on their own budget. So they're being very thoughtful about it.
Right. Okay. So again, tell me again, what is PNM's date? Your guys' goal to go carbon free? I know the state has one, and then you guys have one.
We're 2040. The state is 2045, and we're competitive, so we said 2040. Okay.
Okay, good. So you truly think you can achieve that goal by 2040?
We do. We absolutely do.
Okay, so I've been reading actually too much on this. So there has been talk lately that nuclear has to be part of a green future. Is that true in your opinion?
Absolutely. You know, we own part of Palo Verde. It is good, solid baseload power that's available all the time. It has no emissions. We've all successfully stored nuclear waste on our sites for years. So we are big believers in nuclear. Okay. All right.
So storage is going. Are they going to open up a power plant waste place, storage place in New Mexico? Do you know, or in the area?
They have been talking about down in near WIP opening one up, but they've been talking about Yucca Mountain in Nevada since before I got into this industry. So you and I will be long retired before that happens. I think.
Has the technology there changed to make it? I mean, you know, after 3 Mile Island, just everybody went nuts. Is the technology better now?
Well, just remember on 3 Mile Island, no nuclear waste escaped into the atmosphere.
Right.
And the technology in Chernobyl would never happen in the United States. So we have gotten better at safeguarding our plants and doing things like securing them from water, and earthquakes like what happened in Fukushima. So the nuclear industry in the United States is incredibly safe. When I worked at Arizona Public Service for years, and I went out to the nuclear power plant often. So
okay, all right, good to know. We're talking to PNM CEO Pat Vincent Collawn. This is 96.3 News Radio KKOB. Hold on. All right, we're back. TJ Trout, we got BV at the controls, Larry in the newsroom, and once again, PNM CEO Pat Vincent Collawn is with us. Again, Pat, thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate it. I mean, the reason we're having you on is because PNM has just been acquired by Avangrid. And briefly run through that one more time. Who are they, and when does it go into effect?
Okay. Yeah, Avangrid is a large clean energy company. They have utilities in 4 states in the Northeast, and then they have renewable operations in 24 states. Actually, they already have a wind farm here in New Mexico. And, you know, the approvals take about 8 to 14 months. So no changes for that time, but we'll get her done.
Okay. So We're obviously talking about green energy here. We talked about it the last time we talked. At this point, how do you guys envision green energy being divided up? Like, you don't have to give me an exact percentage wise, but the wind, solar, nuclear, other alternatives. What are you looking at?
Yeah, hard to tell because we're looking at costs and technology, but I would say wind and solar probably pretty close to equal here because New Mexico actually has the third most potential for solar and the third most potential for wind in the United States. Mm-hmm. Then I think we're going to see battery in terms of the storage, right. Then probably nuclear, and then you've got whether it's pumped hydro or something else. I'd see that as last.
All right, here's one for you. I've always said, especially in the Southwest, that in New Mexico, Arizona, desert states, that all new home construction should be required to have solar panels. What do you think? Possible?
You're going to make us sound like you're going to make us be California, right? Because that's what they're doing in California.
Yeah. I'm just asking the question. I don't know.
I'm a little more of a free marketer for that. I think I think if people want it, they should have it, but it shouldn't be required.
Yeah. Okay. I know. This is important. How is natural gas part of your guys' future plans of going green?
In the near term, yes. You need that natural gas because the renewables aren't always there. And so you need that natural gas to back them up. We think in the future, the natural gas can be replaced by hydrogen. But yes, we would like to have natural gas in the short run.
Isn't the problem right now with natural gas, obviously it's an extremely clean burning fuel, but isn't the problem like the emissions and the capping at the well sites and the leaks?
Absolutely. And the electric industry is actually starting to try to work with our suppliers to make sure that they cap those leaks and that they don't flare so that we can have what's sort of called clean natural gas. And we would certify that the natural gas is cleaner than the other stuff.
Yeah, I would think natural gas should be part of going forward anyway. I mean, it's just if we can figure out a way to process it and get out of the ground without causing a big mess. How's fossil fuel industry looking at this? I mean, are they nervous? Do they want to be part of it? Do you see them trying to shift what they're doing into more green areas?
It depends. They're split. I think the leading thinkers are now getting into renewables, looking at carbon capture on natural gas. We talked about carbon capture with coal. You can also do it with natural gas. So I think a lot of them are sort of hedging their bets and putting money in renewables and looking at ways to make natural gas cleaner.
Yeah. Okay. And wow. We're out of time. Look at that. So if the public has any questions or comments or whatever, what should they do?
They should go to pnm.com and there's a link that says contact us, type in their question, and they get an answer back.
Oh, well, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
All right. One more question. Are you hiring? I got to ask.
We actually are. We are continuing to hire in the pandemic. We provide an essential service. And so we need people, and when we have people retire or resign, we bring new people on board. We've started new people virtually during the pandemic.
Okay, and I understand you guys are helping people out with their power, their electric bills if they're having trouble because of the pandemic.
We are. This is a great company, and it loves this community and is doing everything we can to help.
All right, lovely speaking with you. I really appreciate you giving me the time today. So hopefully we'll talk soon.
Thank you, TJ. My pleasure.
All right, take care. That was PNM CEO Pat Vincent Collawn. And going to take a quick traffic break in about 10 seconds. Hold on.